All right, again, welcome everybody to our webinar for the MSBA Flex program. This is the Business Analytics Flex program at the University of Texas at Dallas. My name is Gaurav Shekhar. I'm the program director for the MSBA Flex and the online program. I'm also the senior assistant dean for graduate programs for the Jindal School of Management. Very happy to see all of you here. I know a lot of you have joined through our new partner, Columbus Academics. Thank you for sending them over. But this next few minutes are going to be very straightforward. We'll show you some information. We'll discuss that information with you. Hopefully that answers some of your questions. But right after that, and I already see a lot of questions are being put into the chat, we will make sure that those questions are answered. So, and while I'm doing this, I also have my colleague, Sylvia Leventhal, who's the program manager for the MSBA Flex program. Diligently between herself and me, we kind of cover all the aspects of the program, or at least know who is the right person to help you with. But anyways, even before I talk about the business analytics program at UT Dallas, I really want to talk about why business analytics. Don't we have enough degree programs? There are a lot of degree programs already. I mean, UT Dallas as a university offers 140 plus degree programs. So why do we need another one? The reason is very simple. And for this, I think we'll have to go back a few decades. We have to see how the evolution of data has really happened. In the 70s, one of the greatest things that happened was that computers got into our homes. We now had personal computers. And computers have applications. And if you know one thing about applications, they are built to manage data. So it's always been about data. The 70s and 80s were mostly about finessing the way you store that data, you keep that data. But then after 2-3 decades of having heaps of that data, the question was, what do we do with this? And that's where the leaders in the industry, they said, okay, well, you know what? This is hard facts. This is facts. Why don't we go back and look at the trends? We look at trends, where we have done well, where we have not done well, where our opportunities are, etc. Is there anything that is cyclical? And that led to a lot of companies looking at their data and trying to figure out what their opportunities were. And when that started happening, they had a more fact-based approach as opposed to experience and hunch only. They were now able to look at facts and make decisions. And that really helped in making better decisions because they had hard data at hand to go off. Now, the second thing is, whether you're talking about financial sector, real estate, healthcare, oil, natural gas, I mean, you think of any sector, those sectors, even if they were traditionally not digital, they are going digital. At the end of the day, whatever the product or the commodity is, there are digital means of harnessing that product, putting it onto your market, using supply chains to deliver that product. It's all digital. And when we talk about digital nature of businesses, there is data. So the need for data will only grow, and it has been growing tremendously. The good thing for you and not so good thing for the industry is that there's a big shortage of qualified professionals. When I say qualified, this is the word here is qualified. Why? Because see, analytics is not just about, oh, I know a little bit of Excel and I know a little bit of Power BI or Tableau or some of these tools. It's not about tools, to be very honest. Yes, you have to use some tools. But what's the methodology behind these things? What are the frameworks behind this? Is it, how do you model your data? How do you bring it from multiple sources? And sometimes these run into a few hundreds. How do you bring them together? How do you make a warehouse out of this? What is the business objective of doing it? How do you create a model, fine-tune a model, deploy the results, reassess the results, retune the model, and then get to a point where you can turn your raw data into very actionable insights. It's a long process and requires some very pointed training. And that's what really the program provides you. That is why a degree like business analytics exists, because if somebody has just gone through the job and learned about analytics, they might be learning a little bit of what is needed. For our students, they're learning about modeling, databases, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, like the questions that companies have is what happened? So for that, we have stats that we teach you. What will happen? For that, there is predictive analytics that we teach you. What do you recommend? For that, there is prescriptive analytics that we teach you. Okay, over a period of time, or want to do some time series analysis. Does this make economic sense? For that, we have econometrics for you, and we teach you that. There are different skills that are needed to be a very effective professional. Now, here is my 2 cents. If you're trying to get this degree just because you want to learn a few tools, then that's not the right approach. If you want to learn a tool, there are free YouTube videos and you can learn through that. But if you want to learn how you can become an effective analytics practitioner, who is not just a person who knows a bunch of tools, but is somebody who can very thoughtfully, develop an analytics practice, or is an independent contributor in these organizations, that when they have that question whether they should go ahead with this billion-dollar project or not, this person provides an answer because they have the right skill set. If that's your goal, then these are the programs for you. For us, we have a very flexible program. Now, why I say that is students need to take 36 credits, which is 12 courses. Half of them are core classes, half of them are electives. You have almost 85 choices from which you can pick your 6 electives. What time of the day you need to take that class, which day of the week, all those kind of questions are something that you answer and you decide how your experience will be. So that flexibility is there. Engagement is another key thing because, if what you're doing in the class is one thing, but what you're doing outside the class is also very important. Towards your overall development, that's extremely important. And here at the Jindal School, we make sure that people who are part of different clubs, they are part of different events, they are working with industry professionals, they're doing something with them, they are the ones who are benefiting from this engagement. We make sure that you have ample opportunities that fulfills you and helps you with your development. And then we are very focused on outcomes. Anytime a class graduates, or anytime a semester ends, or anytime we are done with an event, we evaluate how we did. And what are we missing? And where can we grow? And what worked for our students? Because we can't be doing stuff without gauging our successes and figuring out what's working for our students. At the end of the day, at the center of all of this is our students. So as I mentioned before, this is the 36 credit hour program. There are 10 tracks right now. We are in the process of adding an 11th one in product and innovation analytics, which will come very soon in fall 24. But we have 3 cycles of admissions: fall, summer, and spring. Fall is August, spring is January, and then summer is May. Our biggest class definitely comes in fall, but then there's a significant number of students that start in spring, and then a few of them in summer. The tracks that you see here are listed. These are the 10 tracks right now, and each of them have 7 to 8 courses within them. You have to pick 6 courses. Now you can pick them from one track, you can pick them from multiple tracks. It's up to you. Remember, the flexibility is part of the program, right? It's a STEM designated program. So if your employer is looking for STEM talent, this is the program. If you're an international student and you're looking for extended benefits on the OPT so that you can work 2 extra years, this is the program for you. So that STEM designation definitely helps. Why us again? Well, we are number one, the largest on-campus program in the country. Okay, with close to 1,600 graduate students. And again, this semester we are graduating the largest class ever. About 650 students with an MSBA degree will graduate from UT Dallas. That's the largest ever, not just for UT Dallas, but in a lot of ways for, I believe, any institution out there. So that is one advantage. Now, despite being so big, our averages still are right in the alley of 100K. So I would say is with 0 to 2 years of experience, that's the number that you're getting upon graduation. But with every year of experience that you bring into the program, I would say about $10,000 is what I see gets added onto that. Again, it's not a linear equation, but just kind of trying to estimate what pay packages our students make once they graduate from the program. We have partnerships with a lot of industries, companies. And these are not partnerships where we just have some, relationship with them about, okay, hi, hello. These are people we are working with very rigorously. They are speaking in our classes. They are mentoring our students. They are recruiting our students. They are judging competitions. They are, helping us develop curriculum. They are the ones who are giving us feedback. They are asking us to come to their premises and talk to their employees. And I mean, it's a symbiotic relationship, and we have that with so many companies that eventually the beneficiary of this relationship is the student. So that helps. And again, irrespective of how big we are able to make sure that students who are looking for these meaningful relationships outside of the program are able to get them. That's that important piece, because a lot of times people feel that if it's a large program, you might miss out on things. It's not. Those opportunities are available. To be honest, the only way to miss out on these things is by not subscribing to them. That's it. High return on investment. Anyways, UT Dallas is ranked in the state of Texas as #1 when it comes to ROI, but the business analytics program is right there on the top. The kind of money people are making, even if you have a loan of $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, let's say, people are able to pay that loan in 2 to 3 years. Generally, a banking institution will give you about 7 to 20 years to pay it off. Our students are not taking that much time. I recently had somebody who paid off a $60,000 loan in 1 year, and it's possible. Internships, we see about 600 of them. The last year has been slightly over this number. We hit almost 700. In fact, to be honest, 747 in the last academic year, 2022-2023. So that's a good thing. The average pay has been across all these semesters is what we've seen is about $30. There are 3 different formats of the program. All 3 are STEM designated. The Flex program, again, is the state-funded program, which means the more credits you take, the credit hour goes down, and there is a tuition cap at 12 credits. Now, students can take up to 18 credits in a semester, but after 12 credits, there is no tuition. So technically, credit number 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 are free for you. We also have 2 other programs called Cohort and Online. They both have 2 tracks out of the 10. So data science and accounting analytics. Now, anything that Cohort and Online has is there in Flex. So Flex is our larger program in terms of the offerings, and of course, students as well. But Cohort and Online, 2 very specialized smaller programs, but they offer these 2 tracks. If that's your goal, maybe you want to check out one of these 2 options. Now, for international students, online will not work. If you want to come to the US, unless you want to do it from your home country, absolutely you can do online. But Cohort, one of the benefits is that students end up taking the same classes as groups. So that's one option if you're looking for that kind of an experience. GRE and GMAT waivers are available on a case-to-case basis. Scholarships are also available. For Flex students, once you apply to the program, you get admitted, please do apply for the scholarship as well. And we'll talk about that in a moment. So what do we need for an application? We need your transcripts. Unofficial ones are good if you have scanned copies. Your resume, letter of recommendation. We need 3 if you have no experience, but at least if you have 2 years of experience, we just need 1. A personal objective statement, your essay where you talk about, it's 1 page, double spaced. You talk about why this degree and how does this factor into your future. We do need a GRE GMAT score, but we have waivers available. So if you're thinking of not writing one, sure, go ahead, submit your application, and our team will evaluate you for a GRE or GMAT waiver. You don't have to request anything. When we don't see a score, we automatically consider you as one of the candidates who's asking for a waiver. It takes us about a week or so to evaluate people and then go back with decisions whether they should get the waiver or not. Scholarships for the Flex students, there is a separate application. It takes hardly 2 minutes to fill that application. It's due May 1st for fall 2024. And then if you're looking for the spring semester, the deadline is December 1st. TA-ships are not given out in the very first semester. One of the criteria is that you must complete one semester at UT Dallas with at least a 3.4 GPA to be considered to be a TA. Some quick numbers from the last semester where all the internships, we have the data for everything. We just concluded our cycle for spring of 24 for internships. So our website will very soon reflect new numbers here. But again, just talking about fall 23, which is not too long ago, the top companies that hired our students, so you can see, and most of them are in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. By the way, Dallas-Fort Worth, where we are, it's the 23rd largest economy in the world. And the state of Texas is the 8th largest economy, which means there are a lot of jobs out there. And absolutely, you will nowhere feel that you even have to leave the state, because almost every type of opportunity is available. Whether Dallas-Fort Worth is where we are, but then Austin is not too far, San Antonio is not too far. These are good places. For Houston is another place. Some of the titles that you can see, most of our students are in the data engineering, data science space, business analyst, data analyst. They have always been some of the top internship titles. Some other stats. So in fall 23, we had 216 students that pursued an internship with 172 unique employers. So there were some employers that hired more than one person. Most of the students, 84% of them did at full time, which means that they at least work for 21 hours or more. Mostly when it goes into full time, students are working close to 40 hours. I would say the average number of hours for our students that are working is about 35 a week. The salary for fall was slightly lesser than what we had anticipated, but the job market, which was kind of slow last year, we could see this as the residual effect of that. However, having said that, numbers are looking very different for spring in a positive way. So when we publish that, we'll have better numbers. But the highest salary that went for fall of 23 was $77.50 per hour. That's $155,000 a year as an intern. That's a good thing out there. If you're on LinkedIn, please search for hashtag UTD-MSBA. There are tons and tons of stories of students who are pursuing internships, full-time jobs, participating in activities, and they are using this hashtag. Lots of student organizations that are there at UT Dallas, about 450 of them. 70 of them are in the business school, the Jindal School of Management. The ones that you see listed are some of our key ones: project management, SAP Users Group, Salesforce, Women in Technology, Marketing Analytics Club, Data Visualization Club, Envision, Toastmasters. I mean, you name it, it's there. This is a bonus for coming to UT Dallas, our certificate programs. Now, each of these certificate programs can cost you individually about $20,000. But as a degree-seeking student, all you have to do is just take these courses that are applicable to them. And most of these programs have 3 to 4 courses. If you take those courses, the benefit, number one, if they're part of a certificate program and a degree program, you get credit for both. You don't have to pay tuition twice. And as a master's student, just by taking these, you get credit towards your degree, towards your certificate. You get these for free. It's the second diploma that you can get, or maybe a third diploma, because people sometimes do multiple certificates. And you're able to do this very well and have these certificates when you graduate. The only thing is, when you come to UTD, just apply for these programs. The application takes hardly 5 minutes. And yes, you don't pay any application fee there. We don't have waivers for our degree programs if that's your first degree program. But once you're admitted and you want to add more degree programs, or you want to apply in the future, anybody who's a current student or an alum never has to pay any application fee. It's only the first time that we have to ask you. And for our programs, it's $50 to apply, and then another $50 if your undergraduate education was outside the US. But that's it. And for us, after you are done with your like after the deadline, which is May 1st for fall and October 1st for spring, let's say you send in an application, we're going to still accept it. We take applications all the way until the week before the start of classes. There will be a $75 application fee there on top of it. Sorry, $75 late fee. All right, so that brings us to the end of the presentation. My email, phone number, and then Sylvia, who's the program manager for MSBA Flex, her email and her phone number is right there. But we will jump into questions at this point of time. I'm just going to ask Sylvia if you want to play a little, talk show host here. I don't know if that's
sure.
All right, let's see what the questions are.
Does UT Dallas have an MS Data Science?
So our math department offers a data science degree, which is focused on data science. But here's the thing, that degree is very centered on mathematics. If you're into, you can look at data science from multiple perspectives. And we have 3 schools that provide courses or degrees related to that. Number 1 is the business school. The business school is more about how do you apply the algorithms that are there, the models that are there. Now you do learn about the technicalities, like you learn how to program them, how to apply them, write the scripts and all. You learn the technical side of things as well. But the focus is application, because you are the person who's working with the actual business at the end of the day. Our computer science department may not have a business focus. For them, how those models are developed, what's the code behind it, how do you program them, all that is the focus. The data structure piece may be the focus, which to a great extent is a focus for a business school student as well. But I would say they're very programming centric as a computer science school. And then the third one is all these algorithms is math. So if you take a math point of view here, a vantage point from mathematics, how does that look like? So the equations behind it, what is the math that runs? That's our National Sciences and Mathematics school that provides the MS and data science. So think about what your objective is when you're learning about data science. I would say if you are somebody who's trying to be in a client-facing role, or you want to be as part of the business school degree will help you more, because it helps you understand how the application happens, which is missing in the other degree programs. But simply the focus is very different for them. So business focus means come to the business analytics program.
Okay. The next is a question about fee structure. So I am posting the link to the Bursar's office website and the tuition estimates.
Absolutely.
But
I would still answer that. See, the tuition depends on your credits that you take and your residency. So let's say somebody takes 9 credits, somebody else takes 12 credits. There will be a difference in tuition. For out of state, the maximum tuition would be about $21,000 per semester. That means that you're taking between 12 to 18 credits there. Okay. For an in-state student, which means you have Texas residency, it gets lowered by 50%. Now, if you are one of the scholarship recipients and you're out of state, one of the benefits it brings in is that it gives you the ability to pay in-state tuition rates for 2 semesters. If you become a TA, you qualify for in-state residency. So that helps you with a lot of money. In fact, students who get a scholarship and then for 2 semesters they get the in-state tuition, they save about $15,000 to $18,000 over the 2 semesters. So I would say that the range for tuition is between about $40,000 to about $65,000. And the factors like residency, your credits, and your residency credits, and whether you have scholarship or TA-ship or not, that really decides how your this thing would be, your tuition. Now, as far as living expenses are concerned, that's a lifestyle expense. Just think about it this way, that I would say about $1,000 to $1,200 a month is a good estimate. You can live in an amount lesser than that. Even if you had like $700 and $800 a month, that can still help you. But with the price is going high, I feel that might be a very tight number. So 1,000 to 1,200 is a good estimate per month for your living expenses. That includes your rent, your utilities, and any miscellaneous expense that you would need. And then in terms of books and all, I've never seen a student really spend more than $1,000 over the course of the program. I mean, 1,000 also is a big number for books and all. Most of our courses have some kind of materials, books, access is available. But even if you have to spend money, I would not say that over a 36 credit program, you'll be spending more than $1,000, $1,500. Your tuition, your insurance is the other thing, which is about $1,500 for the long semesters and then $550 for the summer semester. So the top end for you is going to be about $85,000 with the tuition and your living expenses. And I'm talking about like the worst case scenario. And again, one of the things that I would ask Sivi to do is just put the link to the financial planning webinar. We did a webinar a few months ago about the different scenarios of what the profile of a student look like in terms of their financial needs and how do you go about funding yourself. So please do check out that link. It's on our YouTube channel for the Jindal School of Management, but we are going to put that link in the chat as well.
It is there. So the next question is, if we get a scholarship, can we apply to be a TA as well?
So we try to not double dip. The reason is very simple, because the TA is getting benefits of in-state tuition, and your scholarship might also bring that benefit. And for us, it's important to spread the wealth. So we try to not do that. However, I would still say go ahead and apply, because let's say we don't have a candidate, then that's where we become a little lenient with the rule that a person cannot double dip. Having said that, because the kind of pool that we get, I have rarely had an occurrence where somebody who had a scholarship was also a TA. So we have a good pool of students for that matter. But yeah, the short answer is we try to not double dip.
But you can always apply.
But you can always apply. Please do not stop yourself from applying, because that's one way by which you won't get that TA-ship. Even if you qualify, but you have not put in an application, we won't be able to consider you. So just go ahead and apply. It's free.
Right. What career networking opportunities does UTD provide to assist with finding a job upon graduating?
Red, thank you so much for asking that question. What we do is we have a multi-pronged approach here. And again, this is not just UTD, but it's the American way of doing things. Finding a job is a shared responsibility. The student has their share of the responsibility, and yes, the university has their resources. So what we are doing is we're making sure that, first of all, we put you in front of as many employers as possible through our events, through our networking events, through our mentoring programs, etc. On top of it, we use a portal called Handshake where all the positions are posted, so students are applying there. Third thing is we sometimes do exclusive events. Like we'll bring in a company who may want to hire, let's say, 10 interns. Instead of that company going to 10 different places, they just come to UT Dallas. And that's where one of the benefits of having a large program is that they can find people that they need right in one place. We also create resume books that we send to at least 5,000 to 6,000 people. These are folks who have hired our students in the past. These are our partners who we are connecting with. So a lot of people get to see your resumes. And then the best thing is, we do a lot of events, networking events right here on campus, or even if it's not on campus, within a 5-mile radius of this university, there are tons of things happening. So again, it's the different ways through which we are trying to get you to your eventual job, but we share that responsibility with you. And as much as the student is applying, the university is also helping. Now, we also have a university-wide career center. We have a school-wide career center because we are the largest school at UT Dallas with close to 11,000 students. There are specialists, full-time specialists and staff in the career management center in the school that help you in terms of, your interview preparations, or, they bring in at least 200 different employers every semester for different kind of activities. So with all of this happening around you, the probability of you getting a job significantly increases. The question it boils down to is, are you using those opportunities? And yes, our students who use those are the ones who are able to get those jobs very quickly.
Alternate options for funding in case you don't get a scholarship.
Priya, that's a great question, and I'm glad you asked that question, because if you are not able to get a scholarship, that doesn't mean that you need to just stop. Thankfully, a lot of banks or non-banking financial institutions have come up that have been giving away loans to students in US dollars, especially without getting a loan in the US and without a cosigner is a great deal. What they're doing is they're giving out these loans based on the profile of the school and the program. And UT Dallas and the Jindal School and the Business Analytics program really ranks high on those lists. So in our financial planning webinar, we talked about a few entities from which our students have taken loans in the past. GradRight, Avance, Prodigy Finance, Empower. I'm not trying to think if there's anybody else. There are a few others that I've listed there, but these are good places for you to go and start looking for a loan. See, don't think of a loan as something which it's not a derogatory thing. It's the help that you need. You need money for a set period of time so that you can pursue a master's degree. And then right after that, the employment that you get into will help you pay that back. So most of our students, and we tell them that please go for the higher number. Don't ask for a very small conservative number that, oh, I just need $40,000 and there's nothing else to help you. Go for loans that are, taking care of your worst case scenario. See, again, getting a loan and getting the amount dispersed are two different things. Let's say I get $85,000 sanctioned, but I don't use it. That's fine. My lender is not going to charge me interest on the money that I've not used. So I think a lot of times there is shyness from these education loans, but remember, those are your instruments to support yourself, and you should be using this as much as you can.
Can we create an account on Handshake Portal now with the UTD email ID?
So the first time these accounts are created, they're created for number one, they're created closer to your semester start. So you need to be enrolled in classes. That's the first thing. And then I think it's a few weeks out from your semester of start that they activate your profile. So don't just go in and start creating your profile. The school will activate it for you. And once it is activated, you can start applying. Now, again, if you are a fall 24, I'm just taking an example, fall 24 student, you don't need to have an account right now. Nobody's going to hire you unless you are in that, the last 10 yards of the fall semester. So maybe somewhere end of July, early August, if you start applying, yes, people will look into your profile and see if they can hire you. To be honest, for any kind of jobs that are there, and this is something that our campus stakeholders do, they look for whether the student is here on campus or not. One thing I want to mention about on-campus jobs, and this is for whether you decide to come to UTD or not. See, the campus jobs are good. They help you with some change, but they're not paying you overwhelmingly too much. It's not an overwhelming amount of too much money that you're able to support your tuition and everything. Even if it is about living expenses, I would say please budget your expenses before you come in and see how you can get that money, either through your loan, through your savings, through your other sponsors, how you can get that. Because let's say an on-campus job pays you $12 an hour. Okay, you can't work more than 20 hours a week. So that's what, 240 hours minus taxes, say $200 a week is what you're getting. You work for 4 weeks, $700 to $800 is what you get. The time that was spent is way more than $700. So if you are in your equation, if an on-campus job is a very important thing, I want to make sure that you understand that the time that you will spend in the on-campus job is way more valuable that could be spent for things like networking, trying to engage in activities, participation in other things that can get you to those internships and jobs that you want to get to. I'm sure when you think of higher education, you're not saying that, my goal is to become a parking attendant. That's an on-campus job right there. but think about the amount of time you will be spending and the amount of money you're getting in return. And then plan your budgets. A lot of times I've seen that folks who run out of money have a very poorly planned budget. They don't do a job very well. I would strongly recommend, watch the video of our financial planning webinar, because that will give you a lot of insights into what you need to do and will help you in planning. Okay. Moving on.
If I have an admit from MSBA Flex, can I be considered for the double degree MSBA and MBA, not the professional one, and more details regarding how the structure of this double degree would be?
So the MBA is 53 credits and MS is 36. So that's 89 credits. But if you do it together, you can save on some credits. You save 27 credits. So in 63 credits, you will do both degrees. Now, when you have applied to MSBA Flex, you will be considered for MSBA Flex. In a rare chance, what happens is sometimes our admissions committee looks at applicants and they feel if somebody fits the bill for an MSMBA, they will tell you that, you know what, you fit the bill, we would recommend that you come to UT Dallas and you go for that degree. The MBA piece is something that you add on in your first semester once you're here. But if you have applied for MSBA Flex, whatever program you have applied for, you will be considered for that program only to start with. Next question.
I got a scholarship for MSBA Flex, and it was mentioned that the in-state tuition fee would be implemented. Could I know the in-state tuition fee?
So we put the link. The simple answer is the difference between out-of-state and in-state is 50%. In-state is 50% cheaper. For 12 credits, let's say you're paying about $9,000. As an in-state resident, you will pay about $17,000-18,000 as out-of-state. That's the difference.
Is a 3-year business degree acceptable for a
Absolutely, absolutely. For ages, the business school has been doing that. So please send in your 3-year degree.
Okay. Are there any prerequisites for applying for MSBA, as I am a commerce student with no academic and professional background related to computer languages or any other technical aspects?
So there would be 2 things for you, Animesh. One is the second part I will answer. What kind of background you need. Again, if you're admitted and you're coming to UT Dallas to our program, just delve into a little bit of Python, R, and basics of SQL. And it will not take you too much time, a few weeks of work, and you should be good. And that should be a good starting point. But as far as any prereqs are considered, we do look at calculus. If you don't have undergraduate level calculus, which as a commerce student, depending on the institution, you might have done some calculus. If you have not, then in the very first semester, we'll add an extra course, which is a program prerequisite, which will take you through basics of calculus. That's it, to be honest.
If we receive a scholarship for a dual degree program, we have the option of only pursuing my original course for which I applied at UTD.
Absolutely, you can do that because, again, as much as we recommend that you start with the dual program, we'll put you in the dual program. If at any point you feel I don't want to do the dual one, just wait for 1 academic year, or maybe in your by the end of your second semester, reach out to advising and drop your MBA.
Are UT Arlington and UT Dallas under the same management?
So it's the same school system, which means it's the UT system that governs all of us. However, the campuses are run very separately. So we have a separate administration for UT Dallas and separate for Arlington.
Okay, this is a 2-parter. I'll start with the first. I've received the Dean's Excellence Scholarship for Fall 24 and have been told to accept by March 25th. I have accepted the offer. Do I also need to make payment to enroll by the 25th?
No.
No, simple answer. Do I need to upload the scholarship email letter while applying for the I-20, as the financial documents section asks for the scholarship letter?
So one scholarship letter goes from the institution from us to ISSO. We'll be sending that in a few weeks after you have accepted. The other thing is just add that additional document. It doesn't hurt you. But to be honest, the school will send the letter. So give it a few days after you have accepted it. Give it like 4 or 5 days for us to send those letters out to ISSO, because we wait until you accept.
I did also post the link to the academic calendar website, which you will all want to bookmark, because that is the homepage from which you can go to each semester as they get added. Companies that majority of the graduates join after MSBA Flex and an approximate median salary offered.
So a good question. Again, some of our top employers for the last several years have been companies like Ericsson, Toyota, Amazon. Amazon have been taking a lot of our students. Microsoft, Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, Intuit, Geico, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Did I miss any of the big ones out there? Did I say Toyota? So Toyota is the one. Again, we publish all these stats on our website. We have two sections there. Career outcomes is our full-time, and we are in the process of updating that with the very latest numbers. So we will post the link, but just give it a few days. By the end of this week, early next week, you'll see all up-to-date numbers. Our internship numbers were updated this past week, so you have those updated. But again, that's one place to go to check out where our students are getting placed. Remember, our students are getting placed at hundreds of companies. Now, the 650 who are graduating this semester, I can very easily tell you that they will end up working with at least 450 employers, because that's the nature of the game. So there isn't one employer that will come and just hire hundreds, as in some of the parts of the world, sometimes a company comes in and will take a couple thousand people at the same time. That doesn't really happen in the US because they don't hire that ways. It's the business side of things that they need people for, and that they don't need thousands of people on the business side. But I would say about whatever is the number of people that's eligible for an employment, minus 100 is what we see. 50 to 100 is what we see is the number of companies that they end up working for. And the stats are available. Yeah.
Sorry. And I did post the link to the career outcomes website. Course duration of MSBA Flex.
The fastest is 1 year. The most amount of time you are allowed is 72 months, 6 years. Nobody takes that. I would say on an average, 1.5 to 2 years is what students spend here, which is technically 3 to 4 long semesters, so 17 to 22 months.
Can I apply to another program from JSOM if I already have an admit for MSBA Flex? If yes, should I pay the application fees again?
Yes, you will be required to pay the $50, which is if you're within the regular application deadline. See, you have been accepted, but you have not started a program. So technically you are still a new student. But what we do is we don't charge you the foreign credentials evaluation fee the second time. You can just pay the $50 for the other program and be done with it.
In order to receive the I-20, am I supposed to upload the Dean's Scholarship email letter to reflect the I-20?
No.
Is there any deposit or fee we need to pay in order to accept the offer? No.
Once you enroll and the calendar was posted, and we will be sending the program, the school will be sending you emails about it. You will have to pay a fee. And somewhere towards the end of July, this is for fall 24, you will have that deadline to pay the fee.
So, right, what is the deadline to pay the fee? That's on the second page of the academic calendar. Can an MSBA student Flex pursue a graduate diploma certificate in case we can? What is the fee for it?
So again, you can pursue that. And so most of the students, what they do is just pick up courses for which they get credit for the degree as well. I mean, you just pay it once, whatever is the tuition for that course that you're taking, and you get credit. So there's no additional credit tuition that you have to pay just to take a class.
And we already answered the question about Handshake. Deadlines for the application for fall 24 for international students and process for scholarship.
So again, you need to submit the application for your scholarship. We should receive your application by May 1st.
And is there
that's a regular deadline for our application as well. However, if you don't care about the scholarship and you send us an application after May 1st, all the way until the week before start of classes, there's $75 late fee that we'll charge you.
Great. And the deadline is the same for every applicant, whether they're domestic or international, Texas resident or not.
Yes.
The word limit for essay and application.
It's one page that we need. If you spill on to the second page, that's okay.
Okay. Apart from the program fee, is there any additional fee for every subject we take?
So you are charged $100 per credit. That's a school fee on top of whatever you're taking. That's pretty much. And if you're taking an online class, there is an $80 per credit hour for that online course.
Why is it your classes are that big? And does everyone benefit equally from professors for each course since the number is a bit big?
Yeah, there are institutions where 800 people sit in front of one instructor as well. And then there are institutions where, like ours, depending on what class it is, you can have anywhere from 20 students to 60 students. What we have figured out is that that is a good ratio. You know, if you think about a class, 60 students to one instructor is something where you can participate, you can, you know, gain from that instructor equally. See, after a certain number, you know, there is always a range. What's the least and what's the max? So what we have figured out is that 20 to 60 is that range, where if you are in between this range, it doesn't matter whether you're closer to 20 or you're closer to 60, your experience remains the same. You can get the attention that you want to. Now, there are students in the class that need less attention. There are students who need more attention, and the instructor adjusts to the needs of the students as, you know, as they go into the semester. So our classes are not, I would not call them big with an exclamation mark there, because I am aware of lots and lots of classes and institutions that run into hundreds, sometimes a couple thousands as well. You know, for example, CS50, Harvard's class, you know, it's one of the most famous introductory class. There are at least 800-900 students in that lecture hall. 800-900 students that are taking that one class. And it's mostly taught by TAs. One of the things is, in a lot of institutions, teaching assistants teach classes. At UT Dallas, it's a strict no-no. We have instructors only teaching. The TA would be there to help you out. The TA may, once in a while, maybe for 30 minutes, give a presentation on a topic that helps the students, but that's it. 99% of the class time is the course is taught by the instructor.
A question about applying for the Applied Machine Learning certificate. I put the link in there for the IS areas certificates because there's more than just the Applied Machine Learning that often our MSBA students decide they want to apply for. But the steps are provided within each certificate. If my GRE score requirement was waived, how does one apply and get the Dean's Excellence Scholarship since a GRE score is required? I already sent my GRE results to UTD.
Okay, if you've sent your GRE results to UTD, just simply go ahead and put in that application for your scholarship. And what will happen is, as soon as we receive it, the scholarship portal will update it. We will see your scores and we'll be able to take care of your the scholarship app. But we will need that application, so please do apply.
What percentage of candidates receive the waiver for the GMAT?
Well, that's I would say this number is growing because I would say about 20-ish% of our students, a lot of students that apply to us do write GRE or GMAT. So again, don't go by really the numbers. What we do is we don't have a hard limit on, okay, we are not going to give more waivers than X%. We do this on a case-to-case basis. We could be in a situation where nobody qualifies for a waiver, and we could be in a situation that everybody qualifies for a waiver. But it will be done on a case-to-case basis. We ask ourselves a question. If this student who's asking for a waiver had to go and write an exam, would they be successful enough to come and do the degree that they're signing up for successfully?
How can I take GRE? Can I have recommended platforms to use so that I can complete mine?
Well, ETS is the one. You need to go to ETS's website. ets.org, and then check out what options you have there to write your GRE.
Can official transcripts be emailed to the admission department from the undergraduate university, or is a physical copy mandatory?
Oh, absolutely. You can have attested copies emailed from the official email address of your undergrad institution to admission@utdallas.edu. Admission is singular. We accept that, but it has to be an attested copy from the official email address of the institution.
And I just put that email address in there if anyone has any questions. Will the university help for internship?
It will, and we just answered that a few minutes ago. We might just want to take course questions that are new that we.
Right. So we've talked about TA and RA positions. Is there a time constraint for internships, such as 20 hours per week?
Only for on-campus jobs, you are restricted to 20 hours a week. But if you're on an internship, the Jindal School of Management allows you to have, 40-hour internship. You're okay.
We've talked about on-campus jobs in addition to scholarships. How many programs you can apply to? As many as you want. You have to pay the application fee.
Yeah.
You can't apply to another program without paying the fees again. Does MSBA require a thesis or capstone to graduate?
We don't need a thesis, but yes, we need an internship for you to graduate. If you don't get an internship, then there is a course that you take in your last semester. It's a practical course. It's called practicum, project-based course. So we kind of emulate an internship environment there with company projects that you can use.
And Erica continued to say about if she's working at a company, we'll work with you to satisfy the internship requirement.
Absolutely. You don't have to leave your job to get credit. We'll do a special project with you and your manager right there and give you credit. All you have to do is just demonstrate that you used the skills that you earned in the program. We're at the top of the hour, so we will just go through the questions that we did not take.
Okay. Class strength of the Flex program.
So again, this depends on the course that you're taking. It could be 20 to 60 students per course section. But if you're thinking about how many students come to the program, generally in fall, we see about 400 to 500 students in fall, and then that number becomes about 150 in spring and maybe another 20 in summer.
Yes, each class is 3 credits. 3 classes is full-time is 9 credits. You take at least 3 subjects a semester. We've talked about the scholarship for your second year. The last day to apply for the scholarship is May 1st. Can any credits be taken in the summer or winter terms? So we don't have winter terms. We have fall, spring, and summer.
Yeah, it's spring, fall, and summer. So again, your fall term is August to December, spring is Jan to May, and then summer is May to August.
Average number of courses taken in first semester varies. If you're an F1 student, you have to take 3. There are students that take 3, 4, 5. It's up to each student. If you have questions about the scholarship, you need to email the scholarship committee. Their email address is on their website. Can the courses be completed in 3 semesters? Yes. The average is 3 to 4 long semesters. Apart from the elective choice, what's special about Flex program from cohort program?
So one of the things that I mentioned was the tuition benefit. If you go beyond 12 credits, there's no tuition in that particular semester. There are more electives that are there that you can pick up from. And even for the courses that are offered, generally in the Flex program, because of the size of the program, there are more sections that are offered. From a student experience perspective, core program has a lot of good programming events that they do, and same as with the Flex program. I mean, from a student experience perspective, I think there isn't much of a difference. You are going to similar events and stuff, but it's on the academic side and from a tuition perspective that the difference comes in.
The scholarship requires that you be enrolled full-time, but you need to refer to the documents you get from the scholarship about what is required. The program doesn't set those requirements.
Yeah.
In terms of a scholarship decision, the committee meets about every 10 to 15 days. You could hear from them anytime between now and June when they make their final decisions. There will be a recording on the YouTube channel. The tuition estimate does not include 2024. They might not have yet released 2024-2025 tuition costs just yet.
Yeah, that generally comes in June.
Can you apply to the coursebook platform using your UTD email? I don't know what that's asking.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Can we apply to the I think they mean coursebook platform using our UTD email?
If you're applying, yeah, we'll have to just skip that one.
Yeah, okay. We've talked about I-20s with the scholarship. We've talked about tuition, prerequisites for enrolling to classes that would be the deadlines for completing those. There's no prerequisites to start the program.
Yeah, and any program prerequisite, like a course that you may have to take, is all done in the very first semester. So it's not that you have to get onto something before you start your degree program at UTD.
If you provide official GRE scores, you can apply for the scholarship.
Absolutely.
We've talked about the cost structure. We've talked about the duration. For MSBA, it would probably take 4 to 5 long semesters.
Yeah, easily add another 2 semesters on top of your MS degree.
Right. If the MS is 3 to 4, then the MSBA would be 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Can I present my MBA script for consideration in applying for the MSBA program?
Yeah, if you have an MBA, whatever. So here's the thing: whatever degrees you have completed before coming to UT Dallas, you'll have to send us all of them.
The tuition rate is the same, whether you're a double MS, a single MS, or an MSBA. Housing on campus and off campus.
So we do have a lot of communities around the campus. We have a bus service that goes from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. that covers those communities. Yes, we do have a lot of on-campus options as well, but to be very honest, we've seen a lot of students live off campus, and off campus is like sometimes it's a 5-minute walk from the campus. Okay, or if you're taking the bus, that might be 10-15 minutes out there. But there are a lot of both on-campus and off-campus options available, and we do post some of those things on our websites as well, just to give you an idea of where you can live.
Does UTD give scholarship letters or only email?
We will send out that email to you. That is more than enough from our side.
I'm skipping the ones we've answered. The GRE is, yes, you can wait to see if the GRE is waived before paying the application fee, but you need to pay the application fee
to be considered
at some point.
Yeah.
You can't apply to be a TA in your first semester, so once you're here, you'll learn how to apply. If I've already done certain subjects in undergrad level, will they be exempted at graduate level?
No, you cannot use an undergrad course to transfer into a grad course. What you can do is, let's say you've done a database course with no SQL, etc. at your undergrad level, and you want to do a waiver at the grad level. What we'll do is our foundations database course, we will waive that, but instead of that course, you'll have to take something else. The transfer of credits is different, and you can do it between degrees at the same level. So let's say you were doing a master's before, and you want to transfer those credits into the MSBA program, you can do up to 9 credits.
Will the GRE be waived if I have an MBA? On the application process website, it goes over who is eligible for a waiver based on previous education. Whom should we contact for a sample course plan, considering the registration starts from April 1st? So JSOM is hosting an incoming fall 24 student webinar registration webinar next week, and the program is hosting ours in 2 weeks. So attend those and you'll get sample course plans and all the information you need. For MSBA, the additional 27 credit hours would be from core or electives.
So again, both the sides, MBA as well as the MS, will have their core requirements that you'll have to complete. And then between the electives pool is when they start pooling in their credits. So let's say if you're adding the MBA on top of it, you must complete the MBA core classes. You will have to take those. And then if there is anything beyond the core that needs to be taken, that comes from the elective buckets.
What is the minimum GRE for the scholarship?
There's no minimum GRE. It depends on
Do flex and cohort have the same job opportunities?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Again, there is no differentiation really there because at the end of the day, you get the same degree.
Is GMAT compulsory for scholarship, GMAT or GRE? Would you require students to leave campus during spring and summer if they didn't choose courses?
So if you're not enrolled, then of course you're not a current student. If you're not a current student, then there is no need for you to be on campus. The other thing is, if you're an international student and you're not enrolled, you'll be required to leave the country.
If you're, and I think they were asking about dorm living, I believe, to live on campus in a dorm, they require you to be enrolled.
Enrolled, yes.
Is there a way to get my application evaluated to know whether I need to take the GRE? We've talked about just request the waiver and they'll let you know if you can receive the waiver. I think people reposted their questions many times. Summer is an optional term. So I believe you can only live on campus if you are taking summer classes. And you all keep saying winter, but we don't have a winter term. It's fall, spring, and summer. Fall and spring are required semesters for international students. And if you're living on campus, you would be enrolled in fall and spring. How much will the professional development course cost? The same cost per credit for one additional credit. How much time do I have to apply for an I-20 after receiving my acceptance without the admit being null and void? So your admit isn't voided until census day of your admitting term. So there's no fee to accept your admission.
Yeah.
So you just go ahead and accept it. We're not going to ask for any payment, and then you can start the process for your I-20. And if something happens and you are not able to join us, then you can defer and explore future options. But we don't void admissions until you do not come and we hit census day of your admitting term. There are no daycare benefits on campus. Scholarship options, there are none other than the JSOM scholarship that requires test scores. We do encourage you to look for outside third-party scholarships on your own, but that is the only scholarship that we promote at UTD. We've talked about sending the physical copy or emailing it. What's the GRE website is, there's only the one GRE website.
ETS, yeah.
ETS. For students who have the scholarship, what is the minimum of subjects they need to enroll in each semester? So again, it's all on the letter, but you need to be enrolled full-time.
Full-time,
which is 9 credits, 3 classes. We talked about how much you can earn from an on-campus job. We talked about the enrollment webinars that will happen next week for JSOM, which will talk about general enrollments, the process, and how to learn how to enroll. And then 2 weeks from today will be the MSBA Flex webinar, which talks about flex classes, all of that.
Yep.
If you defer, your scholarship does not defer with you. You would need to reapply for the scholarship. Again, there is no minimum score for the scholarship. And that's it.
I think that was all the questions, though. We went 12 minutes, but I think we're good. Now, we want to be respectful of your time, and thank you so much for these wonderful questions. The recording will be on our YouTube channel. Again, there was a link posted to the financial webinar. Please do that, attend that. If you are a student who's coming to UT Dallas in the next couple semesters, and especially if you're coming in fall, you have an important webinar to attend next week that the school is hosting, and then we have our MSBA Flex webinar 2 weeks from now. But we look forward to your questions. Just send us an email. That's the best way to do that. msboan@utdallas.edu, and I'm just putting that in chat so that you have that. But wonderful to have you all here, and we look forward to talking to you in the future.